one of the biggest challenges of creating the world that Ant-Man took place in was being cognizant of the idea that we're shooting a movie that has to have all this visual arc to it, and we're going on this journey with Scott Lang into all these different worlds at the scale that you and I would go through them, and then he would shrink down into this alternate universe, which is part of the DNA of the bigger scale environments. And that these environments had to be not only compelling, but even more compelling as a visual journey for the audience, because that's really when the kind of ride starts. When Scott Lang shrinks down as Ant-Man to the ant scale, that's when the journey and the real kind of experience and wow factor for the audience takes place.
Was there like a particular favorite scene that you had that you loved shooting because you had to really, I don't know how you do research on this. Going into that little minor stuff. What was your favorite scene?
You know, it's funny. I'm asked a lot, like, what is your favorite scene in the movie? And I'm a victim of being really thrilled with the visual journey of the entire film across the entire film and all the department's efforts and stuff. And I think as a collaborative effort, this film, the visual journey of this film is really exciting and satisfying. Like after I saw it, I was like, wow, this thing came together so well. And I love even our beginning montages to, you know, I love the beginning montages to, like, you know, going in through the Raver's apartment as an ant scale to in the bathtub, which in theory is like, it's a huge football stadium scaled set. But I guess I would say, in short, coming up with the environments that tell stories in relationship to each other was the thing that was really interesting for me. So when we came up with the idea to do the exterior of PIM Technologies in the lobby as this older world, mid-century kind of architectural kind of place that spoke to Hank Pym's aspirations once he retired the Ant-Man suit and technology, I thought it really spoke clearly about what an elegant guy he was and how classy he was and the history and warmth that he had. And then if you go inside of that laboratory and you see his whole lab's been taken over and renovated into this colder, darker, almost like machine-like casino that once you were in there, you couldn't get out of it. That was run by Darren Cross. I really love the juxtaposition of those two environments and what that said. In addition to the idea of, like, you know, Scott Lang pulling up in his buddy's van, showing like he's stuck in this, like, kind of, he's trying to make his way back into society, and he's like stuck in this kind of crappy van, and he's like, you know, peeking through the windows of where his daughter's living, trying to like redeem himself. And you can see he's like a square peg in a round hole, which kind of like sets up the whole idea of, like, he's got to figure out how to stay connected and like become a relevant citizen again.
And let's talk about the suit. What was your approach to making such a cool suit? I mean, have you ever seen The Mask Rider? It kind of reminds me of The Mask Rider. It was a old show.
Well, the suit is incredible. It's a real retro kind of timeless kind. It's a real retro kind of timeless suit where, when you look at all the details of it, you see how the sense of history and cutting edge technology was used at a time, and almost in how it functions. And so Sammy Sheldon's our costume designer. She designed the suit with, you know, working with Marvel and its and her staff. And so I didn't design it. I was just one of the several kind of people who enjoy seeing built. And obviously I work very closely with a costume designer. You know, I lay out color palette for the whole film. The suit is what this movie's about. So the suit takes precedence over everything. So one thing that I did in relationship to this suit is that Ant-Man at full scale or Ant-Man at small scale, you know, his suit is black, charcoal and red and some silver. And so what I withheld red throughout most of the film, because anytime Ant-Man shows up, he needs to be the dominant visual in the scene, and never would we want there to be any like lack of clarity of that. And also we want the audience to register that quickly. So I withheld red in most environments. Some of Hank Pym's house had red in it, but that is the genesis of the suit, so we thought that was appropriate. But But yeah, no, Sammy designed the suit with the people at Marvel, and did an amazing job at making it feel like a real timeless, functional piece of technology.